We're back to the Neil Haley Show here on the Author's Corner segment, and I'm excited to welcome to the program Marsha Gleit, and she is the author of You Can't Be Good for Them Until You Are Good to You. So, Marsha, thanks for stopping by. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning for me.
Yes, and so I think I am going to take this a different realm. Different questions, interviewing different people. Define coaching for me. I'm going to throw you on the spot because, again, as a coach, define coaching, and I would love to know what you see it, because there's a lot of people that call themselves coaches, which are really just consultants. They don't coach. They just consult, saying, do it my way or the highway. Coaching's way different, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And I just had a client on the phone the other day, and she goes, tell me what I'm supposed to do. And I'm like, that's not my job. My job's not to tell you what you're supposed to do. My job is to help ask questions, listen to what you're saying, repeat it back to you, framing it so you can hear it and understand it, and so that you can come up with what it is you're supposed to do. And it really frustrates clients a lot of times because they want to be told what to do, and that's not my job.
And then when you talk about consultants and when they tell people, they're really putting themselves out there, because if they made the wrong decision because they didn't get the right information, that's why a coach is better in a way, because they're going to really understand the background of the person. They're going to understand their weaknesses and strengths. They're going to understand all these different things. Then you're going to give the tools necessary to coach them to the next level, saying, okay, we want to get to here, but the only way to get here is to know who you are, right?
Exactly. And I love that. I love being a coach. I was a consultant at one time. I have 30 years experience in finance and accounting, and I thought, oh, I should be a consultant. And I went in, and then you're right, the pressure of trying to tell clients and really help guide them and make their decisions with and for them was a lot of pressure. And then I thought, I'm not going to go back to school and become a psychologist, because I don't really care what happened when you were a baby, right? So I take people from where they are today, and we figure out where they want to go, and we create the plan and the journey for them.
But you also bring your expertise to the table too, and saying,
absolutely.
But you believe to understand the entire person, you can't guide them, and that's what a coach guides. A coach and a teacher are facilitators. A consultant is hey, here are my steps, this is what we're doing, end of the discussion. Like, there's no wiggle room. And a lot of times what happens with people, consultants, they don't really listen to the consultant anyways. So it's more of them coming up with that. So what can your book teach us involving coaching that might be a little different than the average coach out there?
So my book really is a guide, okay? And it's all is around the premise of putting yourself first. And that idea that if I take care of me, it increases my self-worth, my self-love, and makes me better for all those around me. And the biggest problem that most people have is they need clarity around what it is they want to do, what it is they want to be, or where they want to go. So I take them through. Day one, we look at what do you want to do? What's the clarity? Day two is excuses. How do we eliminate your excuses to get you where you want to go? And day three is we talk about how do we take action. Okay, and I guide them through my process of when I coach them. And then the rest of the book is really different tips on how to take care of yourself. And it all culminates in day 30, right, that tells you create that plan for yourself. And how can you take care of you? Because I'm a believer, self-care is selfish, and you need to be good to you. You need to take care of yourself.
And you're spotting that. So who are the type of people that would benefit from your coaching? Who do you focus on as because there's different coaches that focus on specific type of clientele?
Right. So I actually work with clients right now. I'm working with professional women who are going through so much in their lives, right? COVID-19 changed the world for all of us, right? And they're working from home, they're homeschooling their children, they have their spouse around them all the time, and they can't get 5 minutes alone. And when you can't get 5 minutes alone, you are snapping at everybody, you're losing your patience. And those are the people that I'm helping right now because they need it and they just need support. They need some help on how to find that 5 minutes. And they learn, day number 4 in my book, we talk about breathing, right? The first thing we do, right? So simple, right? The first thing we do when we're born and the last thing we do before we die is we take that breath, and we forget to do that during the day. And breath helps us release our stress, helps us feel better. It gets our shoulders out from our ears and down back where they belong, right? And that's what I show. And the second thing that people are really struggling with right now is connection. How do you and I connect through this screen, right? And on day 26, we talk about connection and how important it is and why we need to connect with people, whether that's just call them up, have a great conversation, laugh with them. And that's kind of what my book does. And who I'm helping these days are just people that are just feeling anxious and stressed because this time of year, this pandemic, has taken over.
Exactly. So what types of women, professional women are you? So not just entrepreneurs, but also ones that are working in the workforce too, as well.
Yeah. Ones that are working with the workforce. And the interesting thing is people that have career jobs, right? They're worried too about how long is my job going to last? What's going to happen when I have to go back to the office? What am I going to do with my kids if I have to go back to work? Who's going to be home with them? So there's so many stresses on people right now. And if they just took 5 minutes for themselves, they would feel so much better and they would be able to handle all of these pressures that they're putting on themselves.
Yes, handling those pressures, figuring out what to do and how to do it is so important. And I think that you're bringing the information that's needed out there for women who are going through this. But as COVID-19 has just been really difficult on the working woman and working woman professional in any field it is, because if they still work from home, they have to manage their home. If they're going out, they have to figure out ways of having someone else watching their children and yet not bringing the virus back home. So there's such pressures that they need to talk to someone like you to kind of get through those hurdles and those challenges.
Yeah, and give them strategies.
And it's so needed. So where can people find information on you and purchase your book? Where can they go?
They can go to my website, which is burgeoncoaching.com, or they can just come and schedule some time with me at speakwithmarsha.com. Remember the Brady Bunch, speak Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Well, I think it's so important that you have that that place to kind of speak about these things and to look at these things in so many ways, because again, people are so stressed out right now, especially what women are having to deal with because of being quarantined, their work and different things. And then as professionals, they like to get away. That's why they've chosen to work outside the home and without working in the home. And so that's the whole process. They need to talk to somebody like you because it's a totally different animal for sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, take care. See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right, you're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.